15 weird MacGyver facts you never knew. You know MacGyver, the guy who defused bombs with gum wrappers. But the real madness? That was happening off camera. One bad haircut turned into a national trend. A fake science trick ended up saving someone's life. And somehow, this TV show only got stranger from there. These are the MacGyver facts nobody warned you about.
That tank, you stood on my shoulders? That might get us close enough to stop that leak.
1. The mullet. Let's talk about hair. That glorious mullet that seemed to defy gravity? What if I tell you that was not a styling choice, but pure laziness? Dean Anderson had an extreme resentment towards regular barber trips, so the producers came up with a wild idea. To let it grow wild, and to everybody's surprise, America followed. They loved it so much that the hair had its fan mail by season 3. A clever idea to escape the bunker, isn't it? And that's not it. At number 7, there's another way the director smartly incorporated the actor's ways into the character itself.
I killed her.
2. The Phoenix Foundation. So, where did MacGyver work? Nope, it wasn't NASA or some secret CIA bunker. It was the Phoenix Foundation that served as his base of operations. Although it was entirely made up, it got its inspiration from real government agencies. It did everything, from stopping nuclear meltdowns to catching terrorists. It's almost like a think tank for solving the world's problems. Kind of a dream job, the way they let MacGyver experiment with science and duct tape in life-threatening situations like it was no big deal. I bet you would apply if it were real. 3. Not one life taken, but many lessons taught. For a guy whose life revolved around explosions, shady villains, and unforeseen circumstances, it's applaudable that he never killed anyone. You can watch it 1,000,000 times, and you still won't find a single confirmed kill in the entire series. Instead, he always found a smarter and safer way out, because the kids who idealized him should be aware that violence is never the only solution. MacGyver would trap you in a van using a roll of duct tape, yes, but he'd never pull the trigger and never take a life. That's not merely a script, that's a moral stance, and we respect it. 4. Almost a cowboy. The original concept was a modern-day gunslinger who roamed around town. In the early drafts, MacGyver wore cowboy boots and carried a lasso, but thankfully, the producers pivoted and gave us the genius who solved problems and saved the world in an instant. The change possibly made him the original TV hero that he is. Sometimes the best decisions are the ones that we don't even plan, because imagine if they stuck with that instead of getting this genius that's coming up next. 5. The James Bond without a gun. Where did the idea come from? That's simpler than you'd imagine. The earliest prompt of the world-famous character was James Bond, but with duct tape instead of life-taking weapons. The producers were tired of bullets and pistols. They now wanted an action hero who saved the day just by using his brains, and maybe some bubble gum. And that's exactly what made him stand out amongst the rest. His ability to defuse nuclear bombs with a hockey ticket and a shoelace. Just like the next fact is going to blow your mind without any TNT. 6. Real-to-real life hero. Sounds crazy, but MacGyver wasn't just entertaining. He was saving lives in the real world as well. Following his footsteps, a 10-year-old boy performed an emergency tracheotomy using just the case of a pen and a straw. In another instance, a man trapped under his Jeep escaped using MacGyver's way of thinking. While he wasn't able to reach his phone, he managed to get hold of a crowbar and gradually shift the weight to pull himself free. "I don't think I'd be here if I hadn't watched that show growing up," he later claimed. And that's the power of storytelling. 7. Real-life vulnerability. Are you ready for another twist? Because I'm going to tell you that the fearless MacGyver was terrified of heights, and so was the actor who played your beloved character, Richard Dean Anderson. The writers, once again, conjoined the personality of the actor with the fictional character. to keep the relatability alive. The vulnerability wasn't a weakness, it was what made him real. And we honestly loved him more for it. 8. Acting becomes survival. Ever notice MacGyver shivering on screen? Well, that's not just drama. That's Anderson trying not to freeze. The guy despised outdoor winter shoots for this reason. There's even behind-the-scenes footage in which he can be seen wrapped in 5 layers and muttering, "This isn't acting, it's survival." And that pretty much sums up his sentiments on the cold weather. 9. Hershey's can put an end to war. Who knew a box of Hershey's could one day save your life? In Every Time She Smiles, MacGyver uses chocolates to bribe border guards. With his charm and extraordinary mind, he diffused an international standoff using a bunch of sweet bribery. He hands them to the guards and makes his way through without any gadgets or explosions. Do you think the Cold War could have been avoided if only we knew the right use of a Kit Kat family pack? 10. No stove, no worries. MacGyver can't cook, even if his life depended on it. But he can boil eggs using a laser pointer, a mirror, and a whole lot of patience. Why, may you ask? Because the stove was broken, of course. Naturally, he redirected the laser beam onto a reflective surface so the heat would be concentrated on the egg until it cooks. Not quite practical, but hilarious. One of its kind, exaggerated solutions that made the show legendary. You can try that next time your power goes out if you want your breakfast in 12 hours. 11. Made it into the dictionary. We all know MacGyver for being the lifesaver that he is, but what if I tell you that he has changed the English language? Did you know that the Oxford English Dictionary added the word MacGyver as a verb in 2015? Its meaning? To improvise and fix something in an extremely inventive way. So the next time your headphones break and you fix it with duct tape or make instant noodles without the stove at 2 a.m., you MacGyvered it. That's a one-of-a-kind legacy and a linguistic genius altogether. Subscribe for more such genius TV history. 12. MacGyverism. It may be a little difficult to digest, but MacGyver's wild inventions and tricks weren't entirely fiction. To make sure that his on-the-spot solutions were at least theoretically possible, the writers were constantly checking in with technical advisors and real scientists. It is important to note that some stunts were exaggerated for that extra spice, like a bomb being diffused by a chewing gum, but the core science behind most MacGyverisms was linked with real physics, chemistry, and engineering. Sure, everything wouldn't work flawlessly in a real-life scenario, but the thought behind things is nothing short of applaudable. Did your science teacher ever use an episode to spark scientific discussions in class? 13. Creating real-life engineers. While we're discussing the episodes filled with engineering masterclasses, let's take it a step ahead because the episodes actually rewired people's futures. The thousands of fans who grew up watching him escape danger with gum wrappers wished they could do that for real, or at least learn the science behind it. Physicists and bomb disposal experts have publicly credited MacGyver as their inspiration for choosing their careers. Even NASA agreed that the show was helping people come up with solutions under extreme pressure, something that helped them in daily life as well. Did the show ever make you try DIY? Drop your attempt in the comments. Let's hear your MacGyverism played out.
Taxi! Come on!
14. The mysterious first name. For several seasons, there was a huge mystery for the viewers. What is MacGyver's first name? Speculations resulted in all sorts of options. Some claimed it was Alex, while others thought it was Ace. And then it was finally revealed in Season 7. Angus. That's right. Angus MacGyver. Even the guy looked embarrassed when he finally said it. It was nothing short of an inside joke amongst the fans and writers, like how Chandler's work remained a mystery in the TV show Friends, even amongst his friends. The longest-running name turned out to be one of the weirdest ones, which was not on our lists. Subscribe to our channel if you still wish it were something way cooler.
I saw it.
15. Real-life injuries. Anderson's commitment to realism often cost him a hand and a knee. Quite literally. He wanted to perform the stunts himself, and eventually paid the price too. From spraining ankles to breaking ribs, and even suffering a concussion during an intense scene, he has gone through it all to get the perfect shot. No green screens and rarely any makeup. It was just real-life bruises and a lot of determination behind that mullet. From dictionary definitions to NASA blueprints, MacGyver wasn't just a TV hero. He rewired reality. Subscribe if you're into legends who save the day with science, not fists.